Concert.
Certi.
1, 2, 3, 4. The works of Tchaikovsky, 10% is inspiration and talent, and 90% is a hard work. By the way, the United States of America helped me with that, helped me to show.
Actually, me as a pianist is gifted with a technique inherently. Here are hands, right? Here are shoulders. No clinch, and that's all. If there is no clinch, it's possible to play in different tempos. I think so. And I have never had a clinch. My hands are never tired. I can play for the days and days.
I remember him very well when he was studying at the Institute of Theatre, and I was an enrollee.
At the same time, GUYvoronski was working as a pianist with brothers Jemchuzhny and Alexander Rosenbaum, but that's not the end. Dmitri was invited to the Dixieland Never River 8. It seemed to be a success in their homeland.
The pianist Dmitri GUYvoronski would now come to you to the Kola Peninsula on tour. I envy you, because listening to him gives me great pleasure every time. Dmitri's scripts are not written, especially in life. They happen spontaneously. All decisions that he takes, all actions, they are all light. He is easygoing.
GUYvoronski entered the Leningrad Conservatory.
I have lived and slept with a stick, literally. It was very nice and very extreme time. My coach predicted Valery Harlamov's future to me. I told already that I was very technical. Even now, if I take a stick, I try to play very nice.
Economic situation in country affects cultural life. Well, theatrical, cultural, creative life. Both creative life and creative people. As rich as the country, I mean the economic and financial conditions, then higher the level of culture and people are craving for everything good.
Despite this, Dmitri continued visiting jazz festivals and began experimenting with music. He created collage, combined Gershwin with Rachmaninoff and Rachmaninoff with Mozart. At the moment, he was noted by the famous conductor Yuri Temirkanov, who encouraged the musician to visit the USA. For the show business in the USA was more developed than in Russia. The musicians there were well liked and earned. Day by day, the life in Russia was becoming harder, especially for creative persons. But Dmitri didn't surrender, he was living for music. His family also means a lot for him. That's why GUYvoronski had to make a decision to work in another field where the income is more satisfactory, or to leave the country and continue to do what he liked. With a heavy heart, the musician escaped from his motherland. He moved to the USA, where at that time many Russians were seeking asylum.
I came to United States and I went, let's say, to nowhere. No friends, no contacts there. I had to change my ideology a bit, which was formed in the spirit of the Soviet Union, on modesty, let's say, comrade spirits and fraternity.
At first, Dmitri got a contract on a cruise ship. He swam with the current right away thanks to his participation in several jazz concerts, the orchestra of Woody Herman, the orchestra of Les Brown. Then Dmitri performed in several groups. On his first cruise, many American musicians got on board. At that time, there was the Jazz Festival, which was visited by Count Bass Orchestra with the chief Frank Foster and Jerry Mulligan, quartet in which the famous pianist Ted Rosenthal was playing.
When I came to United States, I changed my mind. I became a fighter. Actually, that's natural for Americans. I mean American business, especially show business. However, now in Russia, it's necessary as well to be a fighter and to be very confident and determined to go far. Of course, it was some language problems, communications problems, contacts problems in United States, but many problems I'm sorted out, and actually after 2 or 3 years later, I felt like a fish in the water.
Knowing English at C grade, Dmitri never felt as got used for his life in the USA. It was impossible to miss such a brilliant pianist.
Я поехал по короткому контракту.
I have joined an orchestra according to the short contract in United States. I was playing for the many rock and jazz stars, for many celebrities.
Это родоначальник в группе в стиле фанки. Черный, значит, музыкант.
And I was noticed by Sam Moore, who said, "Oh my God, let this crazy Russian play some more." He didn't even remember my name, but then we became a good friends. Well, that's how I made them notice me.
Soon GUYvoronsky performed with a lot of notable celebrities like Gina Vanelli, Chaka Khan, Stanley Clarke, but it's not all. Dmitri was invited to work together with the group Yes, but he refused. It's not his style of music. So Dmitri stayed in the USA almost legally. Dmitri still remember that day. Miami, District City, caught right in the center, in downtown, and lots of people. But the main point which he remembers since that day was the judge words.
No matter where you have come from, you must love and respect your family roots.
And Dmitri really honors his roots. Living in the USA, he is playing not only foreign music. The compositions of Russian composers can also be heard in his repertoire.
Who is the first? What is your favorite composer? Tchaikovsky, I like that. Who next?
Mozart.
Mozart, good. Gershwin. Strauss.
Listening to these sounds, many people started telling him, "You must go to Las Vegas." Burning with the desire to give people the sounds of music, Dmitri moved to Las Vegas. And at first he started to play together with Tom Jones. After some time, GUYvoronsky was able to buy instruments to perform solo.
I still retain a passion for skates, the ice, and pack and stick. Well, who knows? If I choose to be a hockey player instead piano, we might be having this interview with me in NHL.
Having only keyboard instruments, he managed to parody the playing of a famous guitarist, Jimi Hendrix. Before long, GUYvoronsky presented his own piano show with which he traveled around the world.
I have got a huge experience from the famous performers in the United States, such as Victor Borge, Oscar Peterson, Dave Brubeck, Peter Nero, of course Liberace. He's a star of show business in Las Vegas in 60s, 70s and 80s. It was a show around piano, literally. It was show around piano.
The public received the virtuoso like one of the family. Each time Dmitri grew more and more easygoing. He started to apply tricks and hold concerts. It's amazing. If GUYvoronsky hadn't learned English so well by when, Americans might not have received him at all. They had seen so much: Frank Sinatra, Elton John, Leopold Stokowski, Vladimir Gorovitz. These people are very experienced and have high expectations. They are exigent. Thus, Dmitri has to learn to give all he had got with vengeance. The most rated newspaper in Florida, the Palm Beach Post, wrote about Dmitri.
This sexy, hot guy is the most exciting Russian to hit our shores since Dr. Zhivago. He does for the piano what Baryshnikov did for the ballet. From the French Riviera to Asia, from Europe to South America, from Scandinavia to South Africa, this young engine has been wooing his audience to their feet.
Whether on stage or screen, his performances have won rave reviews from even music harshest critics. Dmitri's range is phenomenal. Classical, jazz, Broadway show tunes, pop music, rock from the 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s and 90s fusion, new age. There is nothing this amazing talent can't play.
Principle here in the US. People say if the audience looks at the watch and say, "Oh my God, hour has passed like 5 minutes, it means they think the performance was pretty good.
The uniqueness of the concerts of Russian improviser lays in the fact that people of different social classes and ages can visit this performance.
And the last one, just for the several hours in transit to Singapore. Today Dmitri GUYvoronski was in St. Petersburg, favorite disciple of Temirkanov, the star of foreign variety. Everything is in his hands. His playing on piano is a mixture of jazz, rock, pop and classic music. He really enhanced the American audience. Surprisingly, that in Russia his art is almost unknown. As Dmitri admitted in an exclusive interview for St. Petersburg News, he has been always dreaming to perform exactly for the Russian audience. While flying to this concert, the maestro wrote a medley of Dostoevsky and Reznikov music.
Dmitri walked into my life as the wind, as if it was a bee sting out of the blue. Before I met Dmitri, I had never heard the music like this. Anyway, I hadn't heard it live. He performs it so masterly well, just super professionally. I'll never forget that a year ago, on my jubilee, there were musicians, very good musicians, and a Cossack choir. They were singing, actually, they were good performers, and suddenly Dmitri appeared. All the people stood up and were just staying and listening. The talent he has, it flows through his heart, and what comes outside is a unique work of art.
Many players have passed through me, and Viktor Drobish, producer, who also loves hockey and plays, and call me sometimes to come to Moscow to play an amateur game of hockey because it's still in our blood. Who knew Contact Lens would be invited? If I had them, maybe I would have crushed everyone as a hockey player.
I've known Dmitri for a long time, but unfortunately we communicate only during the concerts when we meet each other. And then I listen with great pleasure to his wonderful art of improviser and magnificent musician who works with all his heart. And the most important thing that he has, he is an actor. First of all, he is an actor.
So the years were passing this way. Soon the contract ended and the relationships with the American wife as well. Louis and Dmitri are still friends. She contracts with him to play in the USA, but he prefers Russia.
I don't want to talk like some of our celebrities who have been living abroad less than 2 years. I won't even call their names for political reasons. Who say like something like that, oh, I feel myself more comfortable in London. And besides, where do they get the accent? You know, I'm a patriot. Thought I have been a citizen of the United States almost 20 years. I'm a greater patriot than someone who, I will repeat, has been having a resident permit abroad less than 2 years at least, and who begins to speak with an accent and a little bit arrogantly about Russia.
At that time, Russia began to recover from the shocks of 90s. Russian film production was gathering pace.
Let's call him a virtuoso. In the 80s, he left Russia for the USA, mock marriage. He was working in nasty groups and as a ballroom pianist in a porno bar. Moved to San Francisco and got acquainted with the criminal world of the USA and with so-called immigrants from Russia. Pay attention on with whom he is on the photo.
Oh my!
The pyramid.
How many friends he's got?
And what friends? With the help of these friends, he created a great show and began to travel around the world. We became acquainted on the stage. We were shooting one of the episodes of Litany, police TV show, where Dmitri was playing one of the roles. It seemed that he was playing himself. However, he was in his natural element for him to play the role of musician.
This episode of the famous TV series Litany was called The Virtuoso. The scene was written specially for Dmitri. It tells about the musician who performs and goes to tour to different places as well. But how can a feature film exist with the catch? Here Dmitri acted not only a simple musician, but the one who wanted to make big money quickly. That's why he got involved in a drug industry. The virtuoso is suspected of murder and importing large amounts of drugs. But as usual, good triumphs over evil, and it turned to be that our character is innocent. The TV series Highway Patrol was another one title role. In this film, Dmitri played the role of a famous singer's producer.
Yeah, Anne has released her new album. Thanks. Okay. Listen, I'll call you back when I'm free, okay? Well, goodbye. Bye-bye.
Mikhail Borisovich, when shall we start?
The plot is simple. The producer Mikhail Borisovich calls his ward, steals her car, and then he's caught. An antagonist, hypocrite.
Where are you going, Mr. Mogilevsky? You'd better practice music than fight with a woman.
The summer of 2013, Igor has graduated from the university. Watching these photos, one can hardly believe that a small boy has grown up. Now he can speak 5 languages, writes books, and is much respected in writers' circles of St. Petersburg, though he is young.
When my son was 10 years old, he saw how I am skated. He was in shock because, and all the guys, his friends, always saying, "Is your dad a hockey player or what? Or at least a figure skater?" Surely he's a hockey player. And my son answered, "Well, no, he's a jazz musician."
His name is well known in Russia and abroad. He's always open to everything new. Lots of different styles found reflection in his art. Classic, jazz, Latino, rock and pop music. This incredible person is a real virtuoso. He likes to surprise and he can do it. Meet the pianist Dmitri GUYvoronski, the USA.
Nowadays, Russia is not what it used to be. Poor, miserable, even people have changed. They remind those overseas foreigners so easygoing and more relaxed.
Dmitri works from his heart, and he understands what he is doing while he is playing. I'm convinced that he would be a wonderful actor if he had worked in the drama theater. I believe that Dmitri is one of the musicians who have this. Well, you know, many pianists, sometimes when they are playing, they can do everything. But when you see a person performing as an actor, as if he lives in this music, not just playing. He's an American. He has American citizenship and a Russian as well. That's very convenient. We have introduced him as an American participant. That's why the tickets have been raised in price. Everything is ready?
Yes.
So, Dmitri GUYvoronski Trio, Russia, USA. Thanks. Ready?
Dmitri doesn't content himself with solo performances. Every year he participates in the International Festival of Jazz and Worldwide Music Petrojazz. Recently, Dmitri has created a joint project with Portuguese artist Dinara Dindarova Pereira, Music on the Canvas.
Вместе с музыкантами на сцене, художник.
The artist staying with the musician on the stage starts to paint a picture, and the inspiration that the artist gets from the music materializes in a color. in a stroke, in a move, and in a brush touching the canvas. And this is, so to say, an inseparable united action of both painting and music.
Standing in front of a blank canvas, Dinara still doesn't know what will be depicted on it. Dmitri, on his turn, helps her with the improvisation. As if being in trance, Dinara has painted the picture in 20 minutes while the music is sounding. Besides, she managed to paint with oils with two hands simultaneously. Not every artist can do this.
Мы часто вспоминаем о
We often recollect grandiose stars, when the first star extinguished in the light of his life, and then we start talking about what was a talented person, and now we have opened his talent after his death. And I'm very happy to testify that Dmitri's talent is already disclosed.
Another idea of Dmitri is the creation of an actor club, the place where actors and directors of St. Petersburg and Moscow can meet.
People are special, welcoming, northern people, people of big hearts. Is he here for a long time?
No.
Hi! Well, here, especially for Murmansk, we have brought this very expensive instrument, which is in the possession of Stevie Wonder, Elton John, and Dmitri GUYvoronski. So let's play this instrument, that instrument, and of course, the great grand piano.
In March 2013, Dmitri pleased the audience with his new album named Dmitri No. 4.
Alright, please let me hear applause for the citizen of Murmansk, for Sergei Dudetsky and Vladimir Pereverzev. They are already 4 years with me, that's it. I would like to take them with me, but Murmansk won't let them go. Now, the public, let me say, the post-Soviet Russian public is very advanced, especially the youth. They are attracted by the Western culture, and you see, they are more open to my performances. In my performances on stage, it's not simply the piano music. It also includes a lot of elements of show, let's say theatrical performances, like theatrical show. They are ready for this. Before, Russian people was different because of Iron Curtain. Now, the new composition of Dmitri GUYvoronski from the new album, and the producer of this album, Alexander Rosenbaum, sub-producer Vera Hosh, dedicated to all Murmansk citizens.
Dmitri likes the Russian North for an important reason. His maternal roots come from the Murmansk region and Karelia. Also, there are tombs of his ancestor. Maybe that's why Dmitri attracts people whose destiny is somehow linked with his area.
I love the north mostly. Actually, I love St. Petersburg as well, but I don't like climate there. It's pretty humid. And I have been living in California, Florida, and absolutely different weather over there. Very hot in Florida, pretty humid. Well, but I like north as well. I like Murmansk, but I like more like the small cities like Monchegorsk, Severomorsk, Olenegorsk. They are so unique. This reminds me Alaska a little bit, reminds me of Canada, or also Norway, and the nature, of course. Sure, you have magnificent nature, hills, mushrooms, fishing, a lot of snow. I don't have enough time for all of this. is a solemn present for all women.
Today he is in Murmansk, tomorrow he'll visit Monchegorsk, and after a couple of days he'll depart to New York and Las Vegas. And of course Dmitri doesn't forget about the audience of St. Petersburg.
Though I've heard about Dmitri's work for a long time, I got acquainted with him not so long ago. Destiny gave me a chance to meet him only this year, and our relationship went on at one key tone, as musicians say. We found common ground with him at once that made it possible to create a lot of common projects after a month.
Dmitri doesn't despond. He is occupied with new projects and certainly will surprise the audience with new performances more than once.
I wish Dmitri, first of all, health and good luck, and to create more marvelous compositions and to play more concerts, and all the best.
Димочке, я желаю, чтобы как можно было больше правильных уш, правильных глаз.
I wish Dmitri to have good listening audience, to be always deservedly in demand.
И никогда его свет.
And I wish the light of his star, of his gorgeous star, won't fade away.
Dmitri knows that I like and respect him a lot. First of all, because he is just a good man, and of course a good musician. I wish him good luck. I wish him to have good friends and good wine, and an easy road, the easiest road.